Representative Ken Legler.
Yes.
From the Texas House, and we're in the middle of session, so Mr. Legler has allowed us to interrupt him for a little bit just for him to give us this interview. Thank you very much, Mr. Legler.
You're welcome, Andrew.
And I would like to, first of all, ask you, why are you a conservative?
Well, that is my philosophical view. I mean, that's how I grew up, and I think the majority of Americans, when they really come down to it, they are conservatives. They believe in self-reliant. Now, self-reliant doesn't mean you don't help your neighbor. That means you help yourself. You want to do everything on your own. You want to see the achievement, which is when you have your own self-worth. That is America, and that's what America's about.
Well, I did notice also that you joined the Hispanic Republican Conference here in the Texas House of Representatives. Can you tell me why you chose to do that?
Well, definitely. One of the reasons is in my district currently now, population is 57% Hispanic.
Wow.
So I am definitely what they call a major minority, if you want to call that minority. You know, I consider us all conservatives basically, but yeah, 57% minority on the Hispanic side, and you add up, if you want to count the African Americans, and that's about another 7%, and I believe others about 4 or 5. I'm almost at 70% if you want to call that minority district.
Wow. Now you know that most Democrats are telling the people that Hispanics should be Democrats. Can you tell me why do you disagree with that?
Right. And one, I think that's their wishful thinking.
It's
one of the reasons I'm going to disagree with that, you know, and I walked my neighborhoods, and I walked my first race 8,000 houses, my second race 7,000 houses, I'm knocking on doors, and my district is 57% Hispanic. I knocked on majority Hispanic doors, and everybody agrees on the same thing. It doesn't matter if you're Hispanic, or it doesn't matter if you're African American, or Asian, or Anglo, whatever you want to call yourself. They're worried about certain things, and that is less government interference, less taxes, let me be responsible for myself. And so that's the reason why I joined it, because I want everybody to know, I want them to know that just because you say you're Hispanic, you have a Hispanic surname, does not mean you cannot be conservative. And I believe when it comes out to that point, they're going to say, yes, I am a conservative. And if you're conservative, that means a Republican Party, then that's Republican Party. That's the way I think you vote. In fact, that's the way I was voting. In fact, with being that large of a district, I could not have won my race with over 20 points.
That's right.
And I was running against a Spanish surname in my district. So if that doesn't tell you that you can belong, if you have a Spanish surname, you can be a Republican, I don't know, can. In fact, my last figures I have here was in my district, one good thing, Spanish surnames, voter output, you know, was 31.5% in my district compared to 21.6% in the state. So I actually had a 10% higher voter turnout by Spanish surnames than the state did. And if you put that in overall my district, I was about 1 point below the average of the voters. So definitely, if it was not with the Spanish surnames voting, I could not have won the race, especially by over 20 points.
Well, that is wonderful. It's really something encouraging that the people can know, that they can identify with the values, because we're talking about the values that we hold, and this is not playing the race part, like as you say, you were really running against somebody with a Spanish surname. That is important. Now, I know that you are very involved, but certainly you are involved with certain committees that you have been assigned. Can you tell me about those committees that you are involved and tell us a little bit about what you are doing on those?
Correct. One of the committees, is my second time serving on this committee, is the Environmental Regulation Committee.
Very important.
Very important. It creates jobs and creates our health, basically. It keeps our health safe. That committee oversees Texas Environmental Quality Commission, which is most people don't realize, is the second largest environmental agency in the world. EPA is #1, Texas is #2. And I mean, that means we're larger than China, Germany, France, India, Brazil, any of these countries. We have a second largest environmental protection agency in the world, and that's what we do in Texas, and we oversee that. And we're doing a very good job of that. Our air is cleaner now, our water's cleaner now, our waste is more manageable. And because we in Texas know what it takes for Texas to succeed, and we will continue that.
Mr. Legler, is the Committee on Environmental Regulations addressing the overreach of the federal government and the EPA into Texas industry environmental matters?
Yes, we are very interested, and we are trying to do something about that. We are trying to bring in the Region 6 administrator and ask him questions. Unfortunately, he doesn't show up all the time. We actually are passing some rules that are stating that we will follow what is best for Texas, and especially one part of that is greenhouse gas. We're saying that we're making a statement that greenhouse gas is a voodoo science in a way because it has not been proven, and greenhouse gases can just devastate our economy and devastate our jobs if the EPA falls through. So we are passing certain rules and laws, trying to passing out that says greenhouse gases is a voodoo science. Let us make sure we use real science and what we have been doing and continue to clean our environment.
Developing the vast oil and natural gas resources on U.S. territory will lead to U.S. jobs and energy independence. Yet, Democrats and environmentalists are dead set on preventing this. How can we move forward with developing these resources in Texas, Mr. Legler?
Well, in Texas, we're doing a very good job. We're doing a very good job. We have the Barnett Shale area, and we have the shale natural gas and oil down near the border, right south San Antonio, which will make us probably one of the largest states with natural gas production. So in the state of Texas, we're doing a very good job. Unfortunately, our offshore, which a lot of our jobs are in my district, in the Houston area, and along even the coast, rely on it. We're talking about drilling platforms and drilling bits and all the rest. The federal government's put a stop on it, which hurts our jobs. Why they think we should not drill in the Gulf of Mexico, off the Atlantic coast, off the Pacific coast, or in Alaska, become self-sufficient, where we do not have to worry about places like Libya anymore. Well, you know, we always worry about it, but I'm telling you, we don't have to become involved in them, or even Iraq, or Iran, or Saudi Arabia, Bahrain. We can become self-sufficient in our energy. I do not understand. I have no clue why the Democrats keep fighting it.
Yes.
I don't understand one part of that. I don't know if it's just because they just want to fight us, the Republicans, or if they really believe in it. If they really believe in it, I worries me probably more than if they're just trying to fight us. Because if they really believe in that, they're trying to make us be second a nation to other countries, and where we should be, and we have enough energy, whether it's coal, gas, nuclear, to be self-sufficient. And not even that, we have algae, new energy coming out made from algae, and wind and solar. We're Texas' largest wind producer of electricity in the nation. We can be self-sufficient in our country, and we can be a very, very strong country. And those type of jobs, they're jobs that create other jobs. In other words, that industry creates jobs.
Yes.
And in fact, we could almost appoint, we have enough natural gas, we could actually export natural gas to Europe. We have enough coal where we can actually, and China's looking at it now, where we can export coal to China. Wouldn't that be great, sending things to China instead of us bringing everything? It's pension, investments, and financial services.
Okay.
Well, financial services, of course, is overseas banks, state credit unions, actually oversees perpetual care and cemeteries. One of the big hot items that we also oversee is the cash payday loans and cash title loans, which are kind of going a little wild in this area. So we're going to set standards for them to make sure they follow under certain guidelines, but we're not going to take them out because people rely on them for a lot of issues.
Okay, yes.
We're not going to take them away, but we are going to put guidelines on them. The other part is the retirement system, which include teacher retirement system, state employee system, municipality police, fire. We oversee that to make sure the retirement system is a good financial sound.
And how long have you been in this committee?
This was my first year on that committee. It's very interesting. I'm learning a little bit about this one.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, thank you very much. First of all, I want to say thank you for serving your district, but also thank you for serving all the state of Texas. Thank you very much.
It is my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.